Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. The topic for today is your Filipina relationship forced? If you are someone that is involved with a Filipina and you haven't married yet, or maybe even if you have, my thought is about these relationships being forced. In other words, not exactly natural, to go to another country, which I highly recommend if you haven't, to look for a wife. But what about the people that would say, well, it's just not natural, it's forced, it's not organic, people are manipulating. And that's not a comforting feeling, but let's talk about that here today on Love Beyond the Sea. Please subscribe and leave comments. So, reasons why some man might, do this, because he knows he needs love, he needs companionship, he needs, sexual intimacy. It's just so nice to have a relationship with someone. And so he gets older, and maybe he, takes some shortcuts, or he just gets straight to the point more, or in some way comes on strong, and the woman gets a little unsure of what to do, and maybe she goes along with it because she just doesn't know what to think about his approach. But I want to talk about, times these relationships could be forced. A man might go into a relationship with a Filipina thinking he doesn't have to really try that hard because it's easy. So last resort, he'll go to a woman from the Philippines, and maybe when he finds out he's not having the success he thought he was, or it's not as easy as he thought it was, then he starts putting on some undue pressure, as if he's in any, position to do that. We all know time is running out, so you could go to a woman and overseas and say, wow, I can have a younger woman, bright woman, I'm running out of time, let's go. I got married very fast, as I'll describe here a little bit, but I'll explain why I don't think that our relationship was forced. A man could be forcing things by sending money. Haven't met yet, but he maybe initiates. I'll buy you a phone, or I'll send you money for this, or I'll just start sending you some money for your own comfort. And a wise Filipina would just, move on. She does not want somebody that wants to do that when they don't even know each other yet, because she thinks that that's insincere. So no reason to offer money at all until you've met in person or you are engaged, like, what happened with my wife and I. But sending money can be a way of manipulating and forcing things to move a little faster than maybe they would otherwise. What about, especially, you haven't even met yet. Now that's, some people take a year or two to even go over there, so there's a lot of time to send money, and it's just a terrible idea. Since that's not really a topic here, but get over there as soon as you can. 3, 4, 5 months is a good amount of time if you're serious about somebody, because she has a right to find somebody, and if you can only communicate so well from that distance, the sooner you meet and see each other in person and meet her family, then that's for the better. So if he's too pushy, hey, I want to meet you right now, I want to come over and I want to go steady with you, and she really doesn't know him well, that could be a tactic that a man uses, but that would be being too pushy and forcing some things. Now, a man should be confident. Hopefully he's experienced, he's learned some things in life. Hopefully he's got some money, he can help her get a visa, provide for her, and that is, a good thing for what women are looking for, all over the world, and the Philippines too. But it still has to happen naturally, and how that works out, how that shakes out, is up to you. But don't try to force things, don't try to brag, don't try to impress, because that's a turn off, and she needs to see if you're right for her, and you need to see if you're right for her. And so you just want to be careful, ask a lot of questions, I guess, more than saying things, because it's going to come down to each other's ability to be married. If a woman is showing too much skin, then she's manipulating, she's forcing. Because men are weak, we fall for that sort of thing. If she's saying, I love you, and who doesn't want to hear that, especially if it's been decades since they did? Well, that's a red flag. If she's showing skin, as I've said many times before, that's a red flag. She says, I love you, before you head for the hills, I would ask her what she thinks she means by that, because it certainly isn't love. Is she presenting needs kind of earlier than you would expect somebody in your own country to do? I need this, I need that, and it's going to cost some money. And is the private information just too much too soon? She could be trying to, pull his heartstrings or something, and especially if she senses he's a generous guy, and then, take advantage of him. That can happen. Could lead to a pseudo intimacy. Now, you always enter a marriage at your own risk. We got married in 54 days. Only took 54 days. I proposed on day 18, and we've been together, almost 8 years now. But it wasn't forced. Neither one of us came on strong. It really did happen quickly, but it was natural. We didn't have any love talk. I love you, I love you. I mean, like we're in junior high or something. No love talk. No talk about asking for money. My wife would never do that of a foreigner, and she'd be offended if he kept wanting to give it to her. She feels like she's not helpless, and a lot of women over there feel like that. So there was no money talk. Like, hey, I'll try to impress you, and I'll do this for you, or buy this for you, or anything like that. We just focused on each other, because she only wanted to focus on one man, because if she was going to talk to a Westerner, she wanted to make sure that he wasn't talking to anybody else. And she told me that. If you're going to be talking to somebody else, then you won't be talking to me. So she was my best choice, and I went with her, and 4 hours a day of communication led to me proposing on day 18 and running over there as fast as I could to show her I was serious and get married. And she wanted to get married and work here, and she wanted to marry me, and I needed a wife, she needed a husband, and we just said, okay, let's do that. We like each other enough to do that. So we both took some risk here, of course, but it wasn't forced. It was our mutual decision. Neither one of us would have said, Bob is forcing Isa, or Isa is forcing Bob, or they're fooling each other. It happened quickly, but that sort of thing wasn't part of it. I was very open and honest about what I was looking for. I wanted a marriage. I wasn't looking for a date or a pen pal. I didn't make a big deal about being an American and living in here and working, or what I'd done for a living. I was more interested in what kind of life we would have together if we were to get married. I didn't make promises either. That's important. I went down the meter as soon as I could. I was very intentional about everything I did. As the phone is ringing here, I'll just have to ignore that. No promises, very intentional, meant what I said what I meant. And she decided that, why not? We were both at a time we could get married, so we did. It wasn't forced, and you can't even try to force your relationship. I gotta get this, take that off. Yeah, you can't even force anything after you're married. It definitely won't work then. So you just have to try to get along with each other, meet the other person's needs, make that marriage lasting the most important thing to you. So I did decide early to take the choice that she was serious about finding love beyond the sea.